allergies. Yeah, I don't think
This is the song.
unproductive.
The same thing. We got.
She has a stack of them on us right
And I'll wake up in the middle of the night, I don't know.
We've distributed all through the school.
Allergies in my old age too.
We used to trades, for like 2 years school, welding school or something like that.
Think it might be working.
Yeah, the power wasn't plugged in over there.
Well, that'll do it.
That's what they always say the first time, right? Have you fixed the power? Switch it on and switch it off.
Plug the thing in.
But nothing is working now.
Okay,
Not
good.
that's not working.
Dang, we've got a new podium. We're getting high-tech redneck in there, aren't we?
We do. We're gonna wait another minute or two and see if this thing will work.
They say how many people voted yesterday in White Plains? Or was it? That's not bad for 23,000, about 40%. Hmm?
A lot of people in that 23,000 are old enough to vote.
Sure.
There you go. Where's that?
All right, this one's working. But we'll go ahead and get started. You can keep working on that one if you want to. Otherwise, we'll just go with this one behind me. Okay, I'm gonna,
We're gonna have the board of zoning adjustment two first.
that's what I figured. I'm gonna call us to order here and note for the record that that we do have a quorum here today. Everyone is here but Mr. Boyd. And we are going to convene as the Board of Adjustment first, because that's the way we need to do it. And there has been a request, and I think Mr. David is here to speak to this, for a variance in the lot size and width requirements on some property, on a piece of property that's zone C4. It's in Charlestown Village, and if I'm seeing all this right, this is the shopping center where 10 Fitness is.
That's right.
And it's on the other end of it from 10 Fitness. And we all have a little plat here in front of us. Y'all can see that. It's right here on the top. So know that we can see that. Barrett, go ahead. What you got?
Sure, thanks, Mr. Jordan. This is a variance request. It's tied to item 5 from your planning commission agenda as well. I'll kind of have to speak with those in tandem on
Yeah,
those.
that's
The
fine.
first item for y'all to vote on is the variance though. So the goal here is to split what's currently lot 1 in Charlestown Village Edition into 2 lots, lots 1A and 1B. As you said, this is the west end of that Charlestown Village strip center that's anchored on the east end by 10 Fitness, what used to be Food King. So the owners would like to market the easternmost of what are 4 bays within their property independently for sale. And to do so, it needs to be its own parcel. We produced a plat showing as much, which I think you have in front of you, but the lot, specifically lot 1B, the smaller of the two, doesn't meet the standard lot size or width requirements given in the zoning code for a C4 zone parcel. That's pretty normal in a strip center for us to encounter this. I think y'all dealt with it on a plat Mr. Quattlebaum did on the east side of town just a couple months ago. So I think there's a couple of means to seek approval. One would be a PUD, which is more complex and takes more work. This is just what we're asking for is a variance from the lot size and lot width requirements in the
property is just in the middle of the parking lot, correct?
Well, no, it's actually the entire west end. If, can I borrow what one, so I'm reading the same thing? you
Yeah,
guys?
sure.
Is it between that and the care center?
Say it again, Mr. Green?
Between that and the care center and your clinic?
Yes, that's right, So this building.
Like, you're
It's
four,
the other
you're 4
side.
units over.
Yeah.
You got the
This is in the
drive-through.
long,
Look at Mr. Postman, see that little jot out?
Yeah.
That's their drive-through.
That's right.
So you got Mr. Postman, and then there's 2 other stores,
There's a
and that's the
salon.
4.
And this is right in front of those stores, between those stores and,
Well, it encompasses
BB Cabs.
that, so we're condoing it?
Basically.
because what's
So-
next to that is the Old Family Dollar, right?
So.
On the other side of this.
Yeah,
So-
I think this last one, so lot 1A would consist of Mr. Postman on the end cap, Tangled Salon and Sink or Swim. Lot 1B would be a vacant shell right now. And then next to them is the venue and Mr. James Gowan's new insurance place. So this sits between Mr. Gowan's property and the new medical care place. It's the 4 structures on the west end of that
So one owner owns all 4 of those right now?
currently.
okay, and these, so lot 1B, I'm looking at where it says lot 1B, that lot is going to extend all the way through to the bottom of the page, through the store that says vacant.
That's right.
So the word vacant is within this newly created lot.
That's right.
So it's real long and real skinny.
That's right. It's 25 feet wide and 300 feet long from front to back. It goes from BB Caps to the rear property line behind the rear loading drive.
Okay, and so what the owner's wanting to do is to sell
1B.
1B, the vacant building. And there's a building there, and it's a vacant thing, correct?
That's right.
All right. Wanting to sell that,
Yeah.
and then everything also that wide onto the street,
That's right.
on up to the street.
And there's already a parking agreement in place
Yeah.
that would cover this. We have added some language to the notes at staff recommendation regarding shared utilities and shared fire, specifically fire sprinkler system, because there is a fire sprinkler system that encompasses this entire area.
So all 4 units is under one sprinkler system?
Yeah, so in this utility note on the plat, it identifies how costs are to be shared if and when maintenance is required on that fire sprinkler system.
Is that normally how it's done? I'm in real estate 33 years. Including the parking lot, I thought that was always just a common area and everybody pays a share to fix it or whatever, but this thing, they're actually gonna own that portion of the parking lot.
I don't know that normal is the right word there.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a normal, I think in this case, I'll assume that they have an interested party who wants that space but doesn't want to lease it, wants to own it outright, so.
There's several examples around town of it both ways. I think where property lines will go out into the parking lot, that's a shared parking lot. I believe when David's Burgers came in and they platted all of that, the fitness center and David's in that area, all those property lines went out into the parking lot. Then they have a shared use, like agreement for all of the parking, and it has to meet all of the different ones. And then the one that we did over by the old Tractor Supply that he was referring to, that one was its own, the parking lot was its own lot, I guess, track that was just for parking. So it's kind of both ways we've seen it. This one's just odd because it's narrow. It's the same width of the unit all the way to basically all the way to the street.
Are there any other ones down through there next to this that's done that way?
Yeah, there's lots 2 and 3 of the same center that they own the building and the parking in front of them. And then there's an easement, access B easement and access A easement in the front and rear that cover the subdivision as a whole and allow for these neighbors to utilize each other's parking and
This is just so they can drop that building down to 1/4 of it and sell 1/4 of it off.
That's right.
Did you just say that there are already some other units in this complex that have been sold off like this?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
So lots 2 and 3, like, and I don't know their owners. Now, Mr.,
Gallon?
who am I trying, what?
Gallon?
No, Roussel used to own all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's been sold off in parts over the years under a plat. Which, it was platted originally in 25, June 25, so it wasn't too terribly long ago that it was split up. We're just making another split, or we're attempting to.
And the only reason we have to look at this is it's 25 feet. Most of them are 50 feet.
Most of them meet the normal lot width
Yeah.
requirements.
This one's just smaller and does not.
Yeah, that kept it from being incidental.
Okay, so the ones before have been incidental, and
It met the zoning requirements, so
Yeah,
it was-
so
it
we-
had access. and
yeah,
all
we
the-
didn't have to look at it.
Yeah, the only reason y'all are looking at it is because of the narrowness.
This is a public hearing too.
So the other ones are not narrow like this?
No, each of them is wider, like lot 1A will be. It meets the minimum width requirements from C4. You did it.
But that owner could come in here next week and say, or next month and say, hey, I want to divide these up too.
It did, that's right.
I want to say I want to what?
They may come up and, since these are kind of already, because typically those buildings are not low-bearing walls and they just move walls back and forth and that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, yeah.
I make a motion that we have to have a public hearing first.
I think, as I understand, I guess we'll do that. The way this has been explained to me is that these things are public anyway. The variance committee meetings are public anyway, so we can hear comments from the public. So I'm going to invite anyone from the public now who wants to speak to this agenda item. If anyone's here who would like to speak to it, please come up to the podium and give us your name and address and tell us what you got to say. Anybody? Okay, hearing no comment from the public, I will declare the public hearing adjourned. And now we think about what we're going to do with this. As I recall, Richard, isn't there a set of criteria that we need to find to be the case in order to grant one of these things? If the variance committee is going to grant a variance, they need to find following items, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yes, sir.
What are those? You knew
I
that.
can paraphrase it.
Yeah.
The basic outline of it is there unique situations that the applicant can't follow the letter of the law? Is there something that's unique about this situation? Is the biggest one. Some of the other ones are, does it affect public safety, not the public's health, safety and all that. But the biggest one, I think, is that always we should look at, is there something that's unique and different about this on why the applicant can't meet the requirement that they're trying to ask the variance.
Okay, well, and here's my question and a thought about this. Looking at this, this doesn't appear that it's gonna hurt anything. It's a building that's already there, there it is. They just want to sell it now. But having said that, what I remember from my years on the variance committee, and they have been a long time ago, the one instance that I remember that was like this was a little piece of ground that was a triangular shaped thing along BB caps, after BB caps had been built, and it was somewhere along kind of across the street from McDonald's there at the main corner of BB caps and made. Anyway, there was a little triangle that was just a real problem. It didn't meet any requirements for anything, so therefore, the owner was in effect precluded from doing anything if the variance committee didn't do something. So that was just the situation there. And then my question is whether we think, and maybe we do and maybe we don't, but do we think that this is comparable to that or not?
I think another thing that I think it says in there is, if you remember the last time we did a variance, we dealt with that shop that added that roof on, went over to the fence line.
Yeah.
It was not a must-have-to-do type thing. You know, it would cost more to try to remedy the situation, or if there's a lot of loss involved or something to that effect.
So I'll go over, if you want me to, just real brief, just synopsis of the different points.
Please do.
Okay, so the first one is, and I'm just gonna paraphrase instead of.
Okay, sure, yeah, please.
The first one has to do with, does the physical surrounding shape, topographical things, something to the specific property, would that result in an undue hardship for the owner? The second one is, are there conditions upon, is this something unique and different that's just affecting this particular property? The third is, it's not, the variance isn't being requested just for the desire to increase the value or income of the property. The next one is, the hardship is caused by the code, not by any other person or what they're trying to do, but it's actually caused by the code, the restrictions of the code. And then the granting of this variance will not be detrimental to the public welfare. And then the proposed variance will not impair adequate supply of light, air, adjacent properties, increase congestion, danger of fire, those types of things, life safety things. Proposed variance complies with the spirit and intent of the restrictions imposed by this code. So those are the things you need to look at and make sure that they meet all, that this request meets all these.
Question. When I look at sink or swim, it looks to me to be very close to the dimensions of this vacant property.
That's correct.
Is that correct? The only thing is, sink or swim, Tangled, Mr. Postman is under one owner,
That's
but
right.
he has already subdivided those into smaller shops, but since he owns all of them, he met the requirements
And
of
he
the size.
hasn't subdivided anything, he just
No,
built
no,
three
excuse
walls.
me, I
He still
misspoke, but
But
that's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
I get
He
it,
is,
yeah.
he's divided that, so this is not unique in size, it's only unique in ownership of one person owning one thing,
Right.
right?
Ownership is, that's right.
Okay, thank you.
I would, can I add something?
Yeah, sure.
I was listening to Mr. Stafford read those. I think the first one's important because the particular physical surrounding shape or topographical condition of the specific property involved. Strict letter of the zoning code would result in undue hardship to the owner as distinguished from mere inconvenience. So this structure was built in 1996, 30 years ago. The Searcy Planning Commission existed at that time, but obviously your rules and regulations were a lot different and I would say less stringent at the time. And so this has been built this way for 30 years, divided. This owner's just trying to sell off a piece of it, so I think we apply to.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve it.
I have a motion by Mr. Green to approve the variance.
I'll second that.
I have a second by Mr. Patton. Any further discussion?
Yes, sir. I'd like to ask
Please do.
Mr. Lane, Mr. Watkins, if they have any issues with this.
Yes. What's the staff's opinion about this? I will tell you that I worry about this is just for the owner's money situation. There was the third or fourth one down the list there said that the application shouldn't be just involving dollars and cents for the owner.
I mean, most of the comments, and they can chime in, our biggest concern was the common ownership of the fire sprinkler system. And then if there were any common ownerships of the utilities. We asked the applicant to
Since it's different owners though, wouldn't you require them to go ahead and divide that?
It's not currently different owner,
It's not,
It will be.
potentially.
but it's, anyways, that was our main concern, was there was some sort of agreement, cross agreement, just like there is with parking, some sort of cross agreement that the fire sprinkler system, for the entire building.
That feels like the most questionable component of it for me. I don't know what codes or engineering feels, but it feels like that would need to be a completely independent fire system
I
after
mean,
this.
going along with that, I mean, if you divide that, because that would be a new owner, could the new owner not abide by putting the sprinkler system in if he just wanted to cut that off? Since he only owns one track, isn't it 3 or more?
No, it's
That
based on the
requires-
square footage under roof without a firewall between. That's why it's in the fire sprinkler system.
Yeah, there won't be a firewall between
Just a
this
device.
vacant one and, yeah.
Okay, so we don't really, all 7 of those things don't really apply. Oh, Mark has something.
Mayor?
Matt.
I was just gonna share, we have I'm part owner of a facility downtown, and it is, structured as a horizontal property machine, which accomplishes, I mean, we have a shared fire system, shared parking lot, you know, that whole, you know, and it has, I believe, 3 different owners of that same building. So, I mean, I don't know how that affects this particular topic, but a horizontal property regime is structured kind of like a condo, you know,
Yeah.
structure. So Mark probably knows more about that than I do. I'm somewhat familiar with those, but not enough to make an intelligent comment about them. My only comment about this would be, it appears to me if you don't want to follow the subdivision code, you build a building like this and then come back and split it into
Yeah.
25-foot lots because that's the way it is.
But that's what I'm getting, if you don't follow all 7 of those things, then, you know, we're letting anybody just go ahead and build it, and we'll just ask for a
And then
continuance
come
later.
back later and do a variance.
Right.
Later, yeah.
And
If-
what I take from what the mayor just said is that it can be done.
I think that there's a structure and mechanism that exists that
Yeah.
could accomplish the same goal.
And, but the question then is whether we can do it with a variance today.
The question then is, if 25 feet is, do you want a 25-foot wide lot, or do you want to maintain, you've got to have 50 feet?
Just to clarify, if this was approved and we had the 25-foot lot, assuming if this building was ever torn down and that person owned that strip of land, it would still be unbuildable under our current codes, right? It doesn't permit this variance in perpetuity or something, right? For future building projects. It's just related to this current,
If the structure burned down, they could build the structure exactly the way it was prior to, or they have to follow what that exact lot, the buildable area of that lot would be, which would pretty much be unbuildable.
because both of
Yeah,
those properties are
it's-
gonna have a setback now, even
Well,
the
the
one.
side setbacks in C4 is 0, so
Okay.
they can still go and build a 25-foot wide building. In the C4 zone, the 0 setbacks are specifically designed because of shopping centers and parceling out different shopping centers may have common walls. And so you could go all the way to the property lines on either side. It would be, so you could build a 25-foot building.
Well, on 2, if it burned down, then, and they would look around and say, well, we need to go back and get a variance from the variance committee, right? I mean, what's the, is that not the way that would work? Yeah, Bear?
Just respectfully, but like, the building across the street, for example, that Ace Hardware is in, every one of those units is its own lot, shaped just like this. Nobody, I don't mean this badly, but nobody asked to do that, nobody really cared, because at the end of the day, me and you go look at it, it's one big building, and they have a shared common fire sprinkler system, and it's just the way it is on a strip center.
Then why do we have then should we have the minimum lot widths for C4?
Well, that's a good question for probably consideration, but for today, what I think we're trying to achieve has been achieved a number of times in past in the city of Cirque City. We're just trying to do a good job of following the right procedure to do so. And The thought of Mr. DeGroat mentioned was, couldn't somebody, just build a building that doesn't meet these and then come back and they want to split it up? I mean, yes, I think theoretically, yes, they could, but the fact that this building's been there for 30 years and this is the first time someone's asking to produce a lot of substandard width is probably telling that that's not a significant problem to consider.
But didn't you say when you started out that this could be accomplished by a PUD? Wouldn't it be the same kind of horizontal that Matt was talking about, the mayor was talking about?
Yeah, in a PUD, it could be accomplished, but there's just added complexity to it. The variance seemed to be the most appropriate, and we actually went to Richard's office and I had said, hey, Richard, what's the cleanest way to achieve what we want to do, but not open up additional can of worms for, you know, other requirements that fall under a PUD. So
I don't think a PUD actually is the appropriate thing used for this. This would be a 25-foot width PUD zone. That, I mean, it's just not, that's just not what PUD is made for. And that was the conversation I had with Bear at the beginning, was I don't think that's what the intent of PUD was for. I think the way to go about it is similar to what we did with the old Tractor Supply Shopping Center that wanted to build the building right next to it that was in the yard of the old Tractor Supply, which is now under construction. And they just had that small lot that was more or less within the confines of the building that they wanted to sell off. So,
PUD, I agree, is not appropriate here. I mean, PUD is for unique scenarios. This is a C4 use. C4 use, C4 type structure. C4 allows for 0-foot side setbacks. I mean, it's like your poster child for a C4 type structure. It's just the lot width doesn't meet.
What did we do with the Tractor Supply thing?
it was approved,
But what did we do? What did we approve? I do not remember.
with the same process. We did a variance for I don't believe it was the lot width, I believe it was the lot size, total lot size. There's a square foot minimum that C4 you have to meet. This one does meet the square foot size, it just doesn't meet the width. I think the width was met at that Tractor Supply, but the square foot size wasn't met. They also were just doing, they did a setback, they asked for reduced setbacks, obviously, and then, variance from the requirements of the landscape code.
So a variance was approved
The
there,
variance was.
which I suspect was before we became the variance committee. I don't know.
No.
We did
No,
that?
we did.
Okay.
Did we do a variance on that?
We did.
All right.
Cause it was kind of an interesting case, is that the plat came first, I believe. And it was a 2-month process, and it was just because of our administrative, they weren't particularly happy with this, because we asked them to come back for a variance, because they
Yeah.
couldn't do what they wanted to do based on the zoning requirements. And so they came back and asked for a variance, and presented the plat that they had, so yeah.
Did you satisfy yourself, did staff satisfy itself on the sprinkler system issue?
From my understanding, we asked them to provide a note on the plat and the bill of insurance saying as such, and so that's what was provided to us.
Saying what you wanted it to say?
That was our main comment, yes, sir.
Okay. So that got resolved on paper at least?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That was just kind of the nuts and bolts of the things that we reviewed, that we saw as an issue, the variance itself. This is one of those, subjective, where you can take some things into consideration. So we didn't tackle into really the subjective stuff, that's y'all's duty. But, from the fire code standpoint, from making sure that the building was sprinkled properly, always. And if there was any sort of change in that, there would be a recourse. The plat gives us the recourse to make sure that sprinkler system is always intact.
That's what I wanted to know. Okay.
That's what I wanted to hear from Mr. Watkins. He knows fire sprinklers,
I know he
not
does.
saying that Richard don't, but
Hey, I'm with you. What say thee, Phil?
This is basically just something on paper. The person driving down BB Gaps will never know any difference. There's an empty slot, someone's gonna go in there, just happens that someone will own that based on
you see no problem with it, correct?
No, I see no problem with
Okay.
Can we call for a vote?
I got a motion and a second, we've done that. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? I'm opposed. Just for the record. But that motion, passes 7-1. All right. I think there is no further business to come before the zoning board of adjustment, so I will gavel this meeting closed and move on to the planning commission meeting, and note for the record that the same quorum is here. We have a quorum here, as we did for the previous zoning adjustment meeting. Everyone is here, but Mr. Boyd. Let's keep doing this. Let's go with different order from what I've got in my agenda here. Let's just do minutes first. Yeah, we need to, yeah, good, minutes, we do minutes. Did everyone get their minutes from the last meeting of the planning committee?
Move to approve.
A motion to approve by Mr. Patton, a second by Mr. DeGroat. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the minutes from the February meeting are unanimously approved. Now, let's go back to what we were just visiting here about the Charlestown Village Edition. And now that we have granted the variance, we have a final plat for lots 1A and 1B, which we've all been looking at throughout the whole time here. And it's a final plat because there's nothing to be built, I presume. So where we are is if we approve this plat, then the city delivers it over to me, I sign it, Mayor takes it and files it, and that's that. So, does anyone have any other questions about this, or we may have talked it through?
Did we talk it all through?
Do I have a motion?
I'd make it. Motion
I have a motion by Mr. Grote, a second by Mr. Green to approve the final plat as presented.
Discussion.
Can I add just one thing, just for clarification, of folks who might just in the know. So again, this would probably be incidental subdivisions, if not for one of the requirements of an incidental, if it requires a variance. So this requires a variance, therefore that's why you all are reviewing this plat.
Right.
I just want to throw that out there for
So-
everybody's understanding.
That is so noted and on the record. I have a motion in a second, right? And we did not vote. Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That plat is approved unanimously as presented. And now that we've approved the variance, I don't have a problem with the plat.
I just asked Jamie that.
That's just what I did. Okay, the next and last thing on the agenda is a presentation by Mr. Davidson on behalf of the city of Searcy to rezone some property from UT to I-2. And this is property, we've got a good picture here of it in our packet here. It's between the airport runway and the service road at the I-57 exit there. And Bear, tell us what we got here.
Yeah, first I'll say, just to clarify, north is to your right on this drawing, so everything's rotated. But that is I-57 on the bottom left. You can see the White County Health Department there on the right-hand side, and then the armory, the National Guard armory there in the bottom right corner, just to get your bearings. That's Brantley Road on the south side of the property, and the airport on the north. So we've been working with Ford Searcy. Mr. Darrell Welch has been working aggressively to try to get some grant money from the state to develop some large industrial sites around the city of Searcy. We were able to work with them last year. Ford Searcy was successful in getting some grant money, as you know, to turn what was formerly the adult softball complex into what's now called Ford Searcy Site Number 1 for marketing as an industrial site. So this is what we're calling Ford Searcy Site Number 2. It's about a 30-acre parcel on property owned by the city of Searcy and adjacent to the airport. Ford Searcy has applied for grant money to improve Brantley Road and to build a sewer pump station on this property so that it would have sewer for an industrial user and to clear it of the heavy vegetation So, the goal is to unencumber the property as much as possible for a future industrial user. It's currently zoned UT Urban Transitional, which is just that blanket zone that all annexed land goes into when it's annexed. It's unspecific, so this request is to rezone that property to I-2, which is heavy industrial, the least restrictive industrial zone. It won't prohibit the land from being used as airport property in the future if needed, but the goal is that some industrial user who works in the aerospace industry would want to purchase this property and set up shop. So to try to make that as easy as possible, our ask is to rezone the entire parcel to I-2.
Is there any construction going on back there as it is now?
No, you're probably thinking of that little notch out, I'll point, if that's okay.
Sure.
There was a hangar built here within the last year
Okay.
that you've seen, you probably saw traffic coming off of Brandon
Mhm.
before.
Yeah.
That's not on this property, but it's immediately adjacent to it.
What is the airport zoned as?
It's all UT, and it might be worth considering in future updating that, but,
It doesn't need to be UT.
yeah, UT's fine, but it's not really anything, you know, so it might be worth considering creating a new zone for the airport or letting the airport be in an I zone, but right now it's UT.
Thank you.
Is the airport commission good with this?
We've been talking with Mr. Pearson through the duration. I haven't talked to any airport commissioners directly, although a couple of them also serve on the board of foreign services, so there's overlap there. I know they're aware of it.
Barrett,
Go ahead, yeah.
whenever we first started looking at property, we approached the airport and visited with them, and we had their full approval as well.
For the record, let me get
Oh,
your name.
Daryl Welch with Forward Service. Yeah, so before we even marketed or did anything, we had conversations with the airport commission, and they were aware of this and gave us the green light to pursue.
Well, now, this is a public hearing for a rezones, and they presumably somebody owns within 300 feet, or 200, whatever it is. So I assume the proper notices went out for this public hearing.
We did
So-
have some questions, but we had the military research, which was interesting, how's it doing?
Well, thank you.
I guess because of the armory, they were just making sure what's going on.
Yeah,
This year, they all signed it, was.
okay. I personally don't have any problem with this. Does anybody else have any questions? If not, I would entertain a motion.
Are we gonna do a public hearing?
Oh, we have to have a public hearing, don't we? Of course. I'm going to convene the public hearing and ask if there is anyone here from the public who wishes to speak to this agenda item, please come up to the podium and say your piece for us. Anybody? Nobody? Hearing no comment from the public, I will declare the public hearing adjourned. And now I will entertain a motion unless there is further discussion.
So moved.
Have a motion by Mr. Green. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Patton. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That rezone